In part two, I wanted to show how I added the color overlay, or some people call them light leaks, whatever you want to call them though. Usually you'll get a file and it'll look something like this. It'll be some splash of color on a black background, and all you would normally do is change the blend mode of that layer to screen, and there you go. Of course, you could always hit Control T to transform, and then right click and choose warp, and you could start warping it around a little bit and make it give it a little bit of uniqueness, so it doesn't look like everybody else that uses the same light leak, and you can play around with it like that. So that's one thing to do. Other examples, like I said, it doesn't have to be splashes of color. You can use lines. You could even do shapes if you wanted. You can mix colors. These are actually all on one layer. Personally, I would do them separately because it gives you more flexibility if you wanted to take out parts of it or change the colors. But those are some examples, and now I want to show you real quickly how to do it on your own. First thing I'm going to do is create a new blank layer, and rather than change the blend mode, because I want to use multiple layers and try things out, rather than change the blend mode of each and every layer each and every time, I'm going to, without first blank layer I created selected, I'm going to hit Control G to put it in a group, and then I'm going to change the blend mode of the group to screen, and that way whatever I put in there, it's already good to go. Next, I'm going to get a soft round brush. I think it's even the default. And with the blend mode at normal and opacity and flow at 100, I'm just going to pick a color. And I'm going to go ahead and click once on the image. And that seems a little bright. And if it is to you, then you can go ahead and lower the opacity. You can adjust it to whatever you want. And that's basically all there is to it. I'm going to add another layer in because, like I said, you could do it all in one layer if you want, but if you do it on separate layers, you can fiddle with the colors easier, and you can delete. If you do multiple, it's easier to delete things without starting over. And this time I'll pick a blue, get that same soft round brush, and click. Another thing you can do, like I said, the default blend mode that you're going to choose is usually screen, but another one that you might want to choose, going back up to the group, to get a completely different look, but still really cool, is to choose a blend mode of color. And I think that also gives a pretty cool look. So depending on what you're going for, that could work also. Another option would be to, instead of adding a blank layer and putting your color on it, another option would be to add a solid color adjustment layer. And then on the mask, you want to invert it so that it's black. And then what you would do instead is brush on the mask with white. And that will give you, and of course once you set the blend mode to screen, that will give you the exact same look. But the cool thing is, because it's a solid color adjustment layer, you can just double click on the color thumbnail and you can adjust it really quickly and easily to pick the color you want. Personally, this is the way I would do it because it gives you a lot more flexibility to go back later, especially if you're using multiple layers. And that works really well. You can also use different brush shapes if you have them, and that way it gives you a look of light streaming in from the corner, so that's another option. And one more option that you might want to try is to add a gradient adjustment layer. I'm going to change the angle here. I'll say OK real quick and change the blend mode just so we can see what we're doing a little better. And the cool thing about a gradient adjustment layer, just like solid colors, you can go in and change that. You can use whatever you want. Makes it quick and easy. You can also, once I've selected the color, you can click and drag on the gradient to adjust it if you want more of one color than the other, as opposed to going in and adjusting the settings. I mean, both work, but this is quick and easy. That's another thing to do. And play with the opacity and get whatever you want. So those are a couple different ways to add color overlays. You can use images and blur the edges. There's plenty of ways to do it, but they're all pretty quick and easy, so I hope that helps.